What's good, YouTube family? Y'all know who it is, man. It's your main man, Ken Clark. Once again, you're tuning into the Ken Clark 1400 YouTube page. I know it's late, man. Let's see if we can get a few people up in here. See if we can get a few people up in this thing tonight. What's good, family? Y'all come on in this thing, man. Come on in this thing, man. Got a few of them in there already. Ain't gonna be long, man. Ain't gonna be long-winded. I'm definitely gonna speak to the people. I'm coming to y'all, man, for a few minutes. Got a few things on my mind. Wanted to rap with y'all about, see what y'all up to. We almost to our destination, man, on this page. So I wanted to definitely come and rap with the people, man, and see if I can get y'all help to get your boy on over to the top, man. 13 subs away from that $1,000 goal. Not $1,000 goal. I don't know what I'm talking about. The 1,000 sub goal. So for the 5 that's in here right now, and like I said, I know it's late, man. I'm out here on this West Coast, man. So, you know, when the East Coast is 1 o'clock in Central, it's midnight. So midnight chat real quick. Some Jackson State content, man. Got a few things on my chest. Y'all let me know who in the building, man, in the comments. And then we'll get in for a minute and then we'll get out of the way. Got some dope videos, man, just waiting for them to drop. Had an amazing interview yesterday, and then we did a really dope show yesterday. So y'all gonna love, I know y'all gonna love them two, the 2 shows that we're gonna drop. Can't say which day it's gonna be. You know, the producer doing some editing. So like, share, subscribe. Make sure you like the stream real quick. Like I said, I'm gonna be in here for a little minute. Ain't gonna hold you too long. But look, I need a favor from y'all, man. I'm 13 subs from $1,000, trying to get this page to 1,000 subs. Almost there, man. Who we got tapped in, man? Somebody put some comments in. Let me know I can hear y'all. Y'all can hear me, I mean. Somebody tap in the comments. But anyway, I'll get started in a minute. Got a few things I want to rap about. And we'll go from there. Cortez, what's good, bro? What's good, Random Arm? So look, man, I know it's late. I was actually gonna wait till tomorrow, but I'm still up, man. So I'm live, man. That's right, I'm live, man. What's cracking? What's cracking? Come on in. Make sure y'all like the stream for me. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Got 2 dope videos on. Make sure you subscribe to Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club podcast. Did a really dope interview with Cray Lyles, former backup quarterback. Tapped in with him. He's on the West Coast now, working for NFL Network. Made a special announcement while he was on the campus of Jackson State, and now he's out on the West Coast. Amazing interview. Yeah, it's 10 p.m. on the West, man. We still early for us, man. So, you know, I like to do this thing late night, and I do what's convenient for me. So, I mean, the cool thing about the live streams is that you can always go back and tap into it. But couple of things, man. Just wanted to, first of all, come to you, tell you guys about the shows that we're doing. Like I said, I didn't expect there to be a whole lot in here, but I just want to say, look, I'm 13 subs away from getting this page to 1,000 subs. We're trying to big up. We're trying to get Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club podcast over 1,000 subs, trying to get the 1400 Club over 1,000 subs. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, do your boy a favor, man. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this stream. And like I said, I'll continue to come to you guys and do, you know, do more of this and bring more dope shows to you. Don't forget, we got the Monday evening quarterback kicking off, me and Zoe. We're going to kick that off this Monday. We're going to preview week 0, FAMU versus UNC. And then we got Howard Alabama State SWAC MEAC Challenge. Zoe gonna be at that game. We might even bring a couple of guests on. We are going to incorporate a call-in show. So I know right now when I come to you live, I'm really relying on the comments, but you know I'm partnering with what's happening, brother or sister. I don't know who it is. Best to do with 7. But look, we are going to incorporate a call-in show. Um, you know, a lot of some of the YouTube content creators, you know, use the call in, and it's pretty successful. I know you guys like to be heard. I mean, when we do our podcast, most of those all of our podcasts are recorded, and then we air it to you guys to make sure the edits and everything is good to roll. But we're gonna try to come to you guys live and try to just interact with you guys, get some show ideas. Y'all know we've been doing this for quite a while, but we're new to YouTube, so wanted to, like I said, interact with the people that's supporting us and tell you guys, man, we appreciate you. So look, it's about 20 people in this thing right now. So listen, I'm sitting shy about 13 subs from a grand, man. So I need everybody that's on the stream right now. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for your boy. Make sure you like this stream. A lot going on Jack State right now, man. A lot of chirping on Twitter. And I was a little agitated, man. I actually recorded a video today, man, when I was in traffic, and I was really annoyed, man, because you got this big mega deal that the Big Ten done signed, and I was a little amped up, man, because I'm like, I don't know why when it comes to us and our institutions, man, we feel like we got to pump the brakes on our value. We always get that, you know, humble down your expectations when it comes to, you know, HBCUs trying to, you know, get the most of what they can gain from, you know, their value, man. So the thing that irks the hell out of me, man, more than anything is us that feel like we don't have the value that's there. Not saying that we're gonna go get $1 billion or some $7 billion TV deal, but we definitely could. There's nothing wrong with going to the, you know, drawing board or going back to the table saying, look, we got to renegotiate, or just trying to strike other deals and partnering. I mean, it's so much, man. I wanted to say I made a video. It was a little too inflammatory. I kind of calmed down a little bit. Y'all know it's late night. I had my little beverage of choice. So, but anyway, we did a dope video on, we did a Coach Zimmer reaction. Now, listen, man, this is my take. I'm not gonna give away everything because I want y'all to tune into the show. I'm pretty sure that show is gonna either drop more than likely tomorrow. We myself, Zoe, Shaq, Corey, all 4 of us jumped on video. You'll see the big Aristotle. You'll see Shaq for the first time. That his light wasn't that good, so he did that intentionally. You know, coming on camera is not always comfortable for everybody, so it takes a little, you know, a little getting used to, because you got people looking at you. I can't see you, but you can see me, so it's a little uncomfortable for some. So that's why I play it safe. I don't go at nobody. I'm not trying to get into no beef. I'm just doing what we do. So when we come to you guys, man, we coming to you, giving you what it is that we already do anyway. We talk about Jack State all the time. We plugged in, and got a lot of really good comments from some of the subscribers and followers that was bigging up the platform. And I am Big Jones. What do you think about a fair number for a SWAC television deal? Now, listen, this is the thing I have about that, bro. So you got to think about it. Now, I know there's a lot of intelligent people that's way more intelligent than me in this space when it comes to talking about TV negotiations and so forth and so on, right? But here's the thing I'd say. The question I would pose is, what actually changed when it comes to the Big Ten? What changed? Now, you say, okay, UCLA and USC is going to the Big Ten. Okay, if you think that USC and UCLA, if you go and look at the history of why they left Pac-12 to go to the Big Ten, then you will kind of understand that, yeah, those are 2 big brands, but UCLA was operating in the red. Those are just the facts. I'm not gonna get into all the details of it. The information's out there. Dope Sports Illustrated article saying that's the reason why. I mean, you would have never thought in a million years that out on the West Coast you'll see USC and UCLA go join the Big Ten. But it's all about money, like Coach Prime said in the past. Here's the thing, man. The question I ask is what changed? And really, I'm in sales, man. So when you're negotiating contracts, the biggest thing about it is timing. Timing, the ability to articulate what it is that you want, striking while the iron is hot, um, going in with your big guns, putting the right team together to figure out what the fair market value is. It's almost like appraising a house, knowing what your worth is, and usually the it's always an incline. Like even when you look at like contracts from an NBA standpoint, professional sports, everything is always on the incline. You got to factor in inflation. There's a demand. You got all these new streaming services. You got Amazon Prime taking NFL Thursday night. You got ESPN trying to ante up. You got the SEC bolstering up. You got all these conferences. You got this realignment. So now there's a lot more interest in college football. Now college football done jumped up into like I think in the top 6 when it comes to like TV right, like money deals. So I mean it's ahead of hockey. It's ahead of I forget what other sport that was that I saw. But here's the point I'm making. That number right there, all that really was a precedent. And this is all I was trying to say. They're 40 years ahead of us, man. They 4 decades ahead of us. And if you want to take it even further, man, they're a whole lot farther than us because we did a show where we talked about history repeating itself, Paradigm Prime, where we bookmarked when things took a turn for the worse for HBCUs and it kind of took them on the incline and we got shafted. We basically got all of our resources, which is our black athlete, got taken from us, and they went to the PWIs and they built up while we basically got the scraps. So here's the thing I'm saying. Now, you look at the Big Ten. I mean, you tell me what's going on in the Big Ten that garners that kind of money. So really, the value is what they're willing to pay for it. Now, was it one network? No, they built a conglomerate, CBS, NBC, Fox, and they formed a big. Now I get it. There was a precedent, but here's all I'm saying. They gave us the blueprint. They gave us the blueprint. So at this point in time, what I got from it is like, damn, that was a power move. So my question at that point is what can we do as a collective to in some small manner duplicate that? Now I know there's some announcements with the Byron Allen HBCU Go. ESPN got all our rights. We got 10 games on ESPN right now. As far as what that number is, it's hard to say what a number is because we don't really know. There's no real transparency. And this is where some of the other content creators and media personalities that are being a little bit more controversial. I don't think it's controversial because I feel like they're right in pushing the envelope and asking the tough questions because at this point, when you see these kind of conferences putting together that kind of money and getting those kind of deals, it's not a bad question to go ask your leadership of the conference, hey, show me the numbers, man. Are we really getting what we think we should be getting? And can we go back to the table and renegotiate? Because it's hard to say. I can't even answer that question because I don't honestly know. And that's one thing that's got to be done. And we got to do better business. So here's all I'm saying. I don't get into like the contract stuff, but that made me pause and say, whoa, man, they playing with a big gun over there. So you know exactly what the deal is that they're doing. There is transparency, and maybe there'll be a little bit more transparency when we find out exactly what it's going to be, what the split's going to be from a member institution standpoint, from a SWAC standpoint. But I think we all can agree the SWAC is hot right now. How is it that the SWAC is hot as it is, and we can't be able to tangibly put our hands on a deal like them? Not saying that the deal is going to be meaty as their deal is, but to be able to say, okay, we got $100 million deal, and each member institution is going to get $10 million in TV revenue. Nobody can say that right now. So whenever there's ambiguity when it comes to being able to specifically speak to what you're going to be getting, that's a problem right within itself. And I don't feel like the ones that are out on the front lines of this sounding the horn saying, we dropping the ball on this, we dropping the ball. What we don't want to do is have somebody like a Coach Prime come in, call us out on doing bad business, look at contracts from a Jackson State standpoint and say, no, we're not going to take this game. We're not going to do this. We're going to pull out of this. And then pump the brakes when it comes to the front office or the leadership of the conference. Now, I think Dr. Kenyatta Cavill spoke of that. I think he's one of the ones that might have a little bit more information. He said more is going to be coming. So I think at this point, it doesn't hurt to ask the questions at this point. So I'm anxious to see what it's going to look like. But I'll say this, I mean, can the SWAC, I mean, is it, if you look at our value and you get someone to really your value comes down to what somebody's willing to pay you for. So at the end of the day, I mean, they got a $7 billion deal. I think that's what is it? 1.07 billion. I want to say it's over 7 years. So you're looking at each member institution getting $100 million. That's different, man. That's different. So from a SWAC standpoint, 100 million feels like it's too little, you know. So I value HBCUs from say all seriousness. This is on a leadership president of HBCUs who don't know the business of athletic plan on. I can't deny. There's nothing I can say about that. I can't even deny that because the mere fact. Wait, what's going on, baby? The mere fact that we don't know what it is tells you everything. Whenever there's confusion, there's ignorance to a certain topic, there's ambiguity when it comes to that. That tells you that the lines of communication isn't as clear as it should be. There's reports out on what it is that they get paid. Everybody know what they get. It ain't no secret. So what I'm saying is, you know who they have to deal with. You know what that deal is worth. You know what that value looks like. My question is, I wonder what the SEC gonna do next. Because you know the SEC was chomping at the bit. They went first. Now I'm not saying they're gonna get the same deal as the Big Ten. I think the media right deal for the SEC is like 500 million. But hey, whenever one ups the ante, it's like recruiting. Coach Prime comes out, gets this big recruiting class. Guess what? Next year, everybody gets a good recruiting class, and it keeps you on your toes. So all I'm saying is, this is all I had to say about it. I'm not getting into the weeds on the specifics. My thing was, it's still, I get annoyed by us that feels like like we don't have the right to desire more for us. I'll never succumb to that. Like, you can't be friends with me if you pessimistic and think small. You just get away from me, man. I don't even want to be around you. I think this year. Now you're right. This year is extremely pivotal. We had a conversation about this, and we were just saying, look, we got to play. The SWAC has to play probably the best football we've seen in decades, because the recruiting is up, the viewership I think is going to be up. I think the attendance is going to be up. I think the demand for HBCU football is going to be up, and we got to do our part. We got to show up, man. We got to make sure we're watching these channels, because they're going to grade us with a harder scale than they would others. That's just how it is. So at the end of the day, we got to turn on the channels. We know it's going to be a lot of football on. Some people talked about putting multiple TVs on in the house to show it, but we got to have those eyes, and then we got to also go to the game. So it's going to determine based off how well and how successful and how good of a product we put on the field. I guarantee you this: if we go have some success out of conference, I bet you're going to see the SWAC going to turn some heads. And then at that point, my question is, are we locked in something that we can't go back and renegotiate now that our value has gone up? I mean, that's something that. So, what do you think about JSU not wanting to play North Dakota State? I don't think. I'm glad you asked me that, and I'm gonna come back to that. But the last thing I want to say about this is not the last thing, because we actually are going to do a show. We owe you guys a part 3 from the History Repeats Itself show. Myself, Zoe, Shaq, we've been building together our talking points, and we are going to come back and do a show where we're going to capsulize, and we're going to do the finality of this whole thing, and really give you a kind of a trajectory of where we see things going. Because Shaq and I and Zoe, we already saw this coming. We saw they were going to do something big that was going to basically change the game and flip things back in their favor. So don't be shocked if you see HBCU recruiting slow down from a big standpoint, because you got all these collectives that's formulating through NIL. The thing that we got to do is we got to continue to sell our story. We need to have a good showing during the season. We need our blue blood HBCUs to put on a show. I think Jackson State FAMU is going to be one of the most critical games that you see, because it's going to open up the season. It's going to show I think the SWAC MEAC challenge is important. I think those that are at Alabama, the Alabama State alums and the Howard alums, especially, y'all got to go to that game, man. Anybody that's in Atlanta that's from an HBCU, go to the game because that game is going to be on national TV. Ain't nobody trying to patronize a product where you ain't got people that don't even believe in the product themselves. So if we got empty seats and that thing ain't packed out like it can be, you know, it's gonna be hard to sell. Jackson State is marketable because you see, look at what you saw. We did the best that we've seen in some years, but I'm expecting we're all expecting 55 plus on an average this year. So we got to be able to put a good product on the field. We got to win out of conference, and we just got to take advantage of the momentum that we got, and then we'll see where we at. I'm gonna tell you like this right here, and this is just me talking. I'm not telling nobody nothing. I said this today. There's a reason Coach Prime is saying we got to dominate. There's a reason Coach Prime is saying we got to dominate. I'm telling you right now, we dominate this year, and there's a lot riding on this season for Jackson State. I'm not telling you exactly what. I'm not telling you what nobody told me. I'm just telling you straight up. We dominate and we look good. And you look at the moves that's being made at 1400 G.R. Lynch, Jackson State will have some opportunities knocking at this door at season's end that a lot of people don't believe is going to be there for us. I'm just trying to tell you. I'll just leave it at that. So, anywho, I'll pause on that because, like I said, I'm not going to be on this live too long because it is late, but I appreciate y'all rocking with me. 52 on the live stream right now. Like I said, for those that's late to the page, that's not late to the page, but just hopping on, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. I'm almost to 1,000, man. I would have never thought I would have jumped on YouTube and did this, but now that the podcast is on there, I really try to use this page to push as much traffic as I can to get Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club podcast YouTube page. We got to get north of 1,000 subscribers, and we got to do that pretty quickly. So we're sitting around 500 or so. So if you haven't subscribed to the page, you see the ticker going across, go subscribe to that channel, and also subscribe to this channel and like this show as well. Now, on to the North Dakota State stuff. Now, first thing I will say is I got to get with Blue and watch this, not get with him. I need to go watch the show. I saw some chirping on Twitter in regards to the AD saying he reached out. I can't comment on his exact statement because I haven't heard it. So here's what I'll say. I'm not aware of what he said. I haven't confirmed it. For right now, let's just take it at face value and say that he reached out and we said, no, not right now. We don't know. I don't know if somebody can maybe tell me if he had said that they were willing to come to Jackson first. Because I'm going to tell you like this right here now. It's late night now. I'm gonna go ahead and unbutton right now. I'm gonna go ahead and be myself now. Listen, somebody come knocking on your door. That means they looking for what you got, and they interested in what you got to offer, right? So my take on the North Dakota State is this: the people that screaming North Dakota State. Let me tell y'all something because this is something I'm just gonna tell you. We do this in our community. There's a lot of people that don't like what's happening at Jackson State that look like me and look like you. That's facts. And we got to stop pretending like it ain't that. We hate on each other. There's a lot of people that really is bothered by the fact that Jackson State got a lot going for it right now. We got a head NFL football coach, Mike Zimmer. Unbelievable to me. I'm flabbergasted. I don't even use that word. I'm flabbergasted that we have an NFL head football coach on our campus at Jackson State University as a freaking defensive analyst. So basically, the man is on campus working for free, basically. Now, we covered what an analyst is on the show. Like I said, y'all got to tune into that show, man, because it got spicy. But I'm just going to touch on a few things. We got Louis Aguiar. That's helping with special teams. I'm going to say a special team analyst. You got Jim Nagy showed up on campus. Now, that was huge for us. I'm saying there's some things happening at Jackson State that's pissing a lot of people off, man. And it ain't just the people that don't look like us. Let me tell y'all something, man. The shit that we've gone through as a people, man, has done a number on us because we don't value ourselves like we should. We pump the brakes. We feel like I got so damn annoyed today, man, reading the comments. I had to just get off Twitter because I'm sitting here like I'm disgusted with the amount of people that feel like they need to give you some in-depth explanation as to why your expectations are too high. Man, get the hell away from me. Don't even talk to me. I mean that because I just think big. And I'm saying you get what you think you're worth. If you don't think you're worth it, hell, ain't nobody. I ain't gonna pay you if you don't value your own stuff, man. You ain't gonna get what you think you're worth, man. So listen, man. There's a lot of people that's hating what's going on. This conversation about North Dakota State, see, this is what people do, and that's what I keep telling people. This is year 2 for Coach Prime. Do y'all know that Coach Prime was introduced September 2020, and he literally took over this team January of 2021. Bro, it's 11, bro and sis. It's August of 2022. We are literally not even a full 2 years into this man's leadership of this school. And we get one damn top recruiting class. We have some success in the first season. We're not counting the spring season because that was basically a tryout. So this is what people do. First, they say, y'all remember when that damn fake schedule came out, right? Fake schedule comes out, Lane College is on there. People come and says, hey, go ahead and y'all playing cream puff, y'all got all these recruits, da 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 da. I've covered this before. Then they say play at FCS school. We put Campbell on the schedule. Then they come back, they test Campbell down. So what people do is they say when it comes to us and what they feel like we should do, they always go to the extreme because they don't want to see the game. They don't want to see Jack State play North Dakota State. They want to see North Dakota State whoop Jack State ass. That's what they really want to see. They want to get us They want to see us mollywopped because they feel like we need some humble pie. Them Negroes over there, they're a little too excited about all the stuff that Dion got going on. I'm jealous. Now, you can take it how you want to take it. I'm just telling you how it works in our community. Y'all know I ain't lying. I just keep it a buck. So you got people asking Coach Prime at SWAC Media Day about Alabama. Alabama, really? Come on, man. We just and again. So here's all I'm saying. Why y'all want to? Y'all keep pushing Jackson State to go play North Dakota State, but you never mention your own school. It's always people that. And then if you in the SWAC, like, come on, man. And then you got people from North Carolina A&T, and they happy because they took a money game to go get skull drag. So so this guy comes on, whoever the athletic director says he reached out to Jackson State. My question to you is this right here. Why does Jackson State need to play North Dakota State? Do you think we need to play North Dakota State to feel validated? You think we need to play them to feel like what we doing is important? What if we already feel like we important? What if we already feel like we're the draw? We are the draw. I'm just saying, North Dakota State is a big fish in a small pond. They could have been with FBS, but they won't do it because they want to stay in that space and dominate. You know, they basically built like an FBS. They basically are an FBS school in FCS clothing. They dominated FCS. My thing is this right here. They don't like the fact that Jackson State hires Coach Prime and immediately you thrust Jackson State up to the top of the conversation, and they feel like, wait a minute, we should be getting talked about like that. And then some people feel like we haven't earned the right. We have not earned the right to be able to talk the way that we talk. But what they don't see, this is the problem when these new people come to the space. See, y'all don't know that we were talking like this when we were 3-8. We was talking like this when we were 4-8. And we was talking like this when we were 5-7, 5-5, and the list goes on and on. Because here's the thing you got to understand: we value us. We had value. We felt like we had value, and our value isn't predicated on a schedule, on who we lined up next to, getting some type of respect from these old FCS polls. These people don't give a damn about what we got going on. And all I'm saying is this: would I like to see us play North Dakota State? If we play them, cool, but we don't have to play them. I'm just saying, what do we gain by winning? Because if let's say we go, all right, devil's advocate. Let's say we go play North Dakota State and we win. Then they're gonna move the goalposts like they do. Everything that they've done, everything that we checked the box on, they just move the goalposts. That's all we do. So At some point, you're gonna have to realize that when you operating at a very high level and you walking in the purpose in which God plans to elevate you, you're just gonna have to deal with the hate that comes with it. Now, if you ain't willing to deal with the hate, then you don't need to go try to elevate. So that's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, it comes with the territory. And all I'm saying is that we're not doing nothing to appease no haters. We're not doing nothing to appease the outsiders, the naysayers. We beat to our own drum. We do what works for us. People mad because we ain't going to schedule a bunch of FBS food. Coach Prime said on the Luke Willie Simmons call, we have a unique situation where we have a 60,000 seat stadium that allows us to be able to hold a home game and make money off of it. We have a unique situation. Jackson State is one of one. We've consistently led the FCS in attendance. Thank goodness we got a business-minded head coach that says we're only capitalizing on about 25% of our own value. So if we're busy trying to build our program and get our affairs in order, we don't have time to entertain social media fantasy games where it does nothing for us. Here's all I'm saying. If we go play North Dakota State and run the risk of jumping into a game like that, listen, we don't have to give North Dakota State the respect that they demanded it. They've done it by winning the FCS national championship. They've won it consistently. All I'm saying is, why push that game when that game does really nothing for us? They say, well, y'all want to claim to be the best. When do we claim to be anything? We claim to be Jackson State. We had the #1 recruiting class 2 years in a row. We signed the #1 player. All we did was stated facts, and we got excited because y'all want us to sit back and be quiet. When y'all know damn well that if Coach Prime was your head football coach and he was doing the things that he's doing at your institution, your ass would be still, you'll be doing the same thing that Jackson State doing. You'll be talking shit. You'll be excited. You'll be pumped up. You'll be, come on, man. Come on, what we talking about? So again, my take on the North Dakota State, thanks, but no thanks. Now, if you want to come to the vet and play us, cool. But we're not taking that. We don't need your money game to come do that. There you go, Zoe. Hey man, if you up, man, come on the screen, bro. Let me know if you up, man. It's late as shit. What time is it? 1? Come on, get some of this, Zoe. Man, Zoe done checked in with him, man. Come on. Let me know if you up, dog. I'm gonna bring your ass on. I had to come on for a quick minute because I was telling them I got 73 on the page, man. Listen, subscribe to the page. I'm 13 subs from a grand. Need y'all to come on and show your boy some love, man. I don't know who all, maybe everybody on here is already subscribed, but like I said, we got a lot going on. And I was telling them, Zoe, we did a dope show, man. Y'all gonna love that show. We left a lot, and we got a lot to come to you guys. So all I'm saying is that, again, the North Dakota State is really just a diversionary tactic. It's a diversionary tactic because all they really trying to do is say, Zoe said on the show last night, he was like, they a bunch of day-days, you know, on what'd you say, Zoe, next Friday? When Day was like, I bet you they won't do it. I bet you they won't do it. I hope they won't do it. That's really all they're saying, right? Because really, at the end of the day, y'all just want to see us go get mollywopped. That's really what it is. Because everybody jumped on the South Carolina State bandwagon after we took that L. Everybody did. Everybody rejoiced and celebrated. All the SWAC schools that we ran roughshod through, we didn't lose the SWAC game, but everybody was a South Carolina State fan. So that's just how it works. But again, think about it. I'm gonna say this, and this, all due respect to everybody. I'm just not being disrespectful. The athletic director of North Dakota State got on the Bluebloods podcast, and just to say that not to say he got on there just for that, but he made it his business from what I'm gathering. Like I said, I ain't heard it, but he let the world know that we called Jackson State, and Jackson State said, no, thank you. And you know what? I'm glad we did. Now, you can take with that and you can do with that what you want to do. You can say we scared. You can say we whatever the hell you want to say. I say we smart, And I say we don't need the game. We don't need North Dakota State to validate what we got going on. Zoe said something since he popped up. Zoe said something I thought was very good. He said, I'm not waiting until Coach Prime leaves to appreciate what we got going on at Jackson State. We are appreciating what we're witnessing every single day, man. There's so many things that's transpiring at our institution right now that is unbelievable. That to hell with you if you don't think that, if you don't want to enjoy this ride and you waiting for the other shoe to fall, then that's on you. We're not worried about that. We're not worried about that. We gonna enjoy this ride, man, because we had a hellacious ride that we was on before we got here, man. You know what I'm saying? Ever since Tommy Gooden caught that ball out of bounds in 2013, we lost the SWAC championship. Y'all know what our program looked like for the last 7 years. But retribution time is here, and it's prime time, man. So again, I don't care nothing about that North Dakota State game. It don't do nothing for us. Good, Zoe. I'm finna send it to you now, bro. Hold on just a second. Get my brother on this thing, man. I ain't know you. Hey, I thought you was asleep. I thought you was asleep, baby. But hold on just a second. I'm gonna get Zoe on this thing, man. Get my bro on this thing. Man. So y'all give me 1 sec, man. I'm gonna send Zoe this invite. And matter of fact, I'm gonna do it from my phone, Zoe. I don't want to come out of the chat, because if I do, I might lose it. So y'all give me 1 sec, man. I'm gonna send Zoe the link, because I want to get him on, man. And the numbers building up. So, bro, you know, I don't mind it one bit. I just thought it was gonna be too late for him. So like I said, we're gonna be on for a hot sec, and we'll go from there. Boom, link sent. Whenever Zoe jumps on this stream, man, we gonna hop on, because I definitely interested to get his take. We didn't talk today a whole lot because I got busy with work, man, and I was just super annoyed. And when I get like that, because what I've tried to do, folks, is I've tried to not go out on the airs, because we represent the university. I was told this a long time ago, whether you want to or not. Tiger Talk is we've been in the game for a few years now, and we really appreciate you guys for rocking with us and really supporting the podcast. We cover Jackson State as a whole. The interview that Corey and I did yesterday with Cray Lyles was so powerful, man. I'm telling you, I'm not even gonna share it. Just wait until you see Cray Lyles. Please go tap into that interview. That's a special young man. And Cray Lyles is the former backup quarterback that made the announcement on the pregame show that he's now going to be working with NFL Network. He's out in Inglewood, California now. Man, when I tell you that young man fired me up with the stuff that he had to say and the stuff that he had to share, and the story and how he got connected with this man, it's powerful, man. One of the most dynamic interviews I've ever had the privilege of doing on the podcast. Much respect to everybody that's come on the show, but that one lit me up, man. I'm telling you, we just getting started, and man, we finna go all the way with this thing. We're not playing around with it. Like I said, for those that's coming on board, Zoe and I are gonna kick off that Monday evening quarterback show this Monday coming up. We're going to preview week 0, FAMU, UNC, Alabama State, Howard, and then we're going to talk about Jackson State updates. We are going to incorporate a call-in show. Thank you. Hey, Blue, I don't know you. Hey, man, you can come on if you want to, Blue. Hey, man, inbox me your email address, bro. I can send you the link. You can come on and speak it, because I hadn't had a chance to watch your show. So if you got a quick sec, I don't know if you set up, man. I know it's late. You know, if you got your, you might got your shirt off and your man briefs, and you might be in the bed chilling, man. So, hey, there you go. DJ, what's up, man? That's my brother, man. That's my brother from another mother right there. Appreciate you for being in there. JSU is a headline. You and people can't take that. I mean, listen, I get it, man. North Dakota State ain't called. They scheduled a couple of FBS schools. I think a couple of FBS schools did. And fuck over the SWAC because it's about to happen. PJ, let me ask you a question, man. My question is, I agree with you But how? Just text me the link. Yeah, I'm gonna bring Blue on, man. Blue. I'm gonna send you the link through. I'm gonna do it through Twitter, bro, and you can come on and get the people a little bit of what he had to say. I'm still gonna tune into the show. I got off late today and was working, man, and I wasn't even sure if I was gonna come on, man. But somebody inboxed me was like, "Dog, you going on?" I'm like, "There he is. He has over to the stream. He is. What's up, dog? What's up, man?
What's
I'm
going on?
finna get I'm finna get Blue on this thing too, man.
All right.
Let's talk about it, man. We know we don't run from nothing, man. We don't run. We definitely we like to. Let me send him the link real quick. Boom, just send it to you, Blue. It's in your Twitter inbox, bro. So when Blue comes on, when Blue jumps in, we gonna we're gonna bring him on too. Let him touch on it, bro. Speak on it, man. I've been rolling, talking for 40 minutes. What man? First of all, what you got on your chest? You know, a lot been going on, man.
All right, man. With this whole North Dakota State thing. All right, first things first, man. Uh, the AD comes on and said they reached out Jack State and you got to know. But the thing is, he didn't elaborate on the parameters of the contract. Because one thing about Jack State, if you pay attention to our track record with Prime and before Prime, with any FCS opponent, we don't ever just do a single game away. No, we've never done it
Nope.
ever. We've never done it ever. And again, outside North Dakota State, but if you look at the HBCU or SWAC history when it comes to FCS home and away games, specifically with PWIs, the first game is always on the road, and we never get a return game. We're not doing
Yeah,
that. So
not at all.
again, and so because of that history, that's why we say, hey, we'll play you, but you're gonna come to Jackson first. But if we want to do a one-off, we'll play at a neutral site for a one-off. But we're not coming to you just for one game, for a one-off. We're not doing that. We're not
Not
doing
never.
it ever. We've never done it. We never
I think
will, and we're not gonna apologize for that. It's never been done before. But this whole thing, like I even saw where it's like, oh, we're probably scared to play them. Man, look, how are we gonna be scared to play them? But we sit there and play an FBS school. Tell me what sense is that gonna make? And
I think the thing that for me, Zoe, is I didn't know. I've been very reluctant to speak on it. Earl hit me up and asked me about it. I said, Earl, I don't know what was said. And you know me, I don't ever comment on anything that I don't have the full detail. That's why I'm bringing Blue on, because Blue interviewed him. He can get a full
I don't even,
context.
I don't even need to hear what was said because it don't even matter. It's irrelevant to be honest
Well,
with
no,
you.
I
Because
definitely
again,
covered that part. I
be-
definitely covered that. But I was just
because
speaking, if you want to get into the meat of the contract shit, I was like, we don't, there's no, what do we, let me ask you this. What do we gain by playing it?
nothing. But here's the point that I want to make though. You
Yep.
know, the thing that the irony that's funny is we always grab well now we the narrative is we're going to gravitate to just one school in particular, forget all the other FCS programs, and then forget that same standard to everybody else. But then it's like, oh, but you know, y'all are getting these great recruits. But then isn't everybody else in the SWAC getting great recruits now? Because you know, according to some people, you know, their recruiting is on par with what we're doing. So why aren't they getting that same?
And we're gonna lose 3 games, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So if everyone else recruiting is on par with us, then why isn't everybody else being held to the same standard? Why isn't everybody else getting pigeonholed to just one particular school? So it's just like, oh no, don't worry about playing any other FCS program. We just need one school in particular. Oh, by the way, they just happen to be the national champion. I
Zoe
mean, it's
always got the dope backgrounds, by the way. And I'm gonna cut him off on that because we told him last night on the show that we recorded last night he had this background, so he's stunning on us, man. He always
so
got the best one. Go ahead, bro.
so the thing that kills me is, you know, about this whole thing with them. And my thing is, look, I for one wouldn't mind playing them just to shut everybody up. But look, you know me and my attitude. I'm always trying to throw a middle finger to everybody anyway. So I want to play them and beat that, you know, and beat them down. Then all we're gonna do is get you to move the goalpost some more. But that's just me. But the thing about it is, let's say if it wasn't North Dakota State. Let's say we played. uh, Eastern Washington or whomever,
Campbell.
or I mean, yeah, Campbell's going to be good, but whomever that could be deemed, what I'm saying, worthy opponent in the FCS rank, right? Or let's just say play spin the bottle and pick any top 10 team right to the FCS. If we beat them, it's not going to suffice for anybody else because they're going to sit there and say, oh, well, it wasn't North Dakota State. But then riddle me this though, Ken. Let's say we go undefeated this year. We play Texas State next year, right? What if
Yep.
what if Texas State this year has a good record, and then next year they're an FBS program. So if we go up there and we beat them, then I guess to everybody else it won't hold any weight because, oh, well, North Dakota State could probably beat them. So you can't satisfy everybody.
Right.
But hold on, we aren't afraid to play Texas State, but we're afraid to play North Dakota State. It don't make sense, man. You can't even put it on a Libra scale and it's going, what I'm saying, or a triple beam and it's
Let,
going to even out. Like, make it make sense, bro.
let me get your take on this, bro. I was saying, think about it. If somebody come fishing for you to try to play you and you didn't go reach out to them, what that tells you, that gauges you based off your value. So obviously they want to. We have something that it is that they want as far as I think the point that I took from it was when you look at us being in dominating the headlines, and they have every right. We got Blue coming on now. They have every right to feel like. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. We're gonna get him in this joint.
And while you doing that, I'm gonna use A&T for an example.
Oh,
I'm gonna use
hey,
A.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man? And
How y'all doing?
I'm gonna use A&T for an example, right? So
yeah,
A&T is going there at a payment of $300,000. Well, guess what? Um, we're not going to play another FCS school on the road for $300,000. We're getting more than that at home, especially giving a home game away just for one road game for $300,000. That don't make sense. Not for us. It makes sense for A&T. They don't draw what we draw.
facts. So here's what we're gonna do. Blue, you here, man? Welcome to the show, bro. Not the
Hey,
show,
man.
but welcome to the
What's going
live
on, Blue
stream.
man? What's going on,
We,
bro?
we,
Hey,
we ain't kicked off the show just yet. And we might
I
have to get you
appreciate
back
y'all.
on the official kickoff, bro. We bring you on some shows. We're gonna do that Monday evening quarterback show. Like I said, y'all know we do Tiger Talk, but Zoe and I we talk SWAC football. So this kind of gives us a different avenue to go into some lanes that we not usually don't have a chance to go into. That's not on record, but we know what the topic was. You had a chance to interview the AD. I'm interested to hear what he had to say because I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I am going to go listen to the interview, but if you don't mind, man, shed a little light on what you had a chance to hear from him today.
Yeah, and I also want to speak on that North Carolina A&T deal. I've talked to some North Carolina A&T fans, including the guys that run the 247 site and some of the, Jamie Walkers and people who are associated with the programs. A lot of fans are pissed because I know there was a narrative from some people that North Dakota State bought out the home game in Greensboro, but the truth is North Carolina A&T never negotiated for a home and home. They were just
What?
cool with get the check, never even asked for a home and home. And that's from North Carolina A&T people. That's not even from the North Dakota State side. And you want to talk
Oh,
about
wow.
some pissed off fans when they found that out? Could you guys imagine negotiating an out of conference, game and being like, nah, we're cool. We don't even want y'all to come here. That doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Especially when you look at when that was negotiated. That was negotiated after A&T's win in 2019 in the Celebration Bowl. So
It's
they're coming
actually
off.
So this was at the peak of their success from a program standpoint. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, Blue, because I don't get in trouble really, but I say that theoretically, I say I'm not gonna apologize if I feel like our value is what it is. Like I know sales, I know marketing, I know branding. I work for some very strong brands in my professional career, and I'm like, that's actually sad when you think about it. That's sad.
it works against their best interest.
Yeah.
Now I get it now. Now I'm gonna say it this way. I ain't gonna say no names, but I see why certain individuals you gotta drink the Kool-Aid because once you in the bed with a bad situation, you kind of gotta pretend like you on board with it. But that's terrible. So you said they did not they didn't even negotiate
Nope.
All right, keep going.
It-
Keep going. Don't cut you off.
it was supposed to be played in 2020, then COVID hit, and so they rescheduled it for 2022. So North Dakota State was supposed to open the season in Eugene against Oregon, and then week 2 they were supposed to host North Carolina A&T. The Oregon game got rescheduled for 2028. And the North Carolina A&T game got rescheduled for 2022. And so that's what happened with that whole COVID schedule when, the fall season just went to absolute craziness for the FCS. So that's kind of what happened there. But for the interview, man, I know you guys know because you guys have interviewed some top people at Jackson State, man. I only had 30 minutes and I wanted to try to get in as many topics as I could. And so some of the answers I talked to them off camera about, and I was like, listen, I would love to have you back on so we can expand on it. But, the Jackson State question was a question that I love the example Ken used a while ago. It was like, if we don't do this, we're going to get criticized. If we do this, we're criticized. If I don't ask that question, Zoe's been in my chat during the live streams. We know what the narrative is going to be. It's like, oh, you were softballing on questions. You didn't want to put them on the spot. So we talked about the struggle with FBS games. He was talking, the report came out where South Carolina and Utah denied games for North Dakota State. They just straight up said, no, we don't want that game. And so I asked him, what was it about Tennessee State that drew that game? He said, one, if we can't play an FBS game, we want a destination game. We want to play in an NFL stadium in a big city. And so Tennessee State with what Eddie George is building, which I think we all can agree has been amazing, right up there with what Coach Prom's doing at Jackson State. Yes. NFL stadium and Nissan Stadium, a big city, Nashville, in a destination location that's going to get some of those North Dakota State fans to want to travel and go experience Nashville.
Nashville is up there with Austin, baby. It's
exactly.
And you know what else, Blue? Tennessee
number
State.
4 on the Bachelor for those that want to get married. Number 4 in Bachelorette cities. Austin's number 3, by the way. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what else, Blue, is a good choice because North Dakota State could actually go to Nashville and now draw Tennessee State too.
That's true. And he said on the live stream that's what made Arizona one of those Pac-12 teams he wanted to schedule. He said, I really do think, he was like, we potentially could bring more fans to Arizona than they'll have at that game.
Yep.
Because they play Arizona week 3 on the road. And I think really and truly, I think they should be the favorite in that game with how bad Arizona's been over the past few years. And then, they also have a game. I don't know if people know, they did a home and home with Eastern Washington, who Tennessee State opens the season up, in Cheney, Washington. They did a home and home, and they had an optional game 3. Well, neither team wanted to be the team that was left out and have an extra away game. So what they did is they moved the game to an NFL stadium in Minneapolis, in the Viking Stadium, next season to open the season. So it's a big neutral site game in a destination location in Minneapolis, which I was there for the Final Four a few years back. That stadium, when I'm talking about you could eat off the floor, man, that thing is so clean. It is real nice. So that was another thing that he brought up. But then I was just like, the Jackson State one is something that's been getting a lot of social media traction. Has there been any negotiations? And I specifically mentioned, I said, listen, they got a 60,000 person stadium, is a home and home to go down there and play in Jackson. Has that been talked about? And what he said, I'll send you the clip, Ken, too. I can text you the clip. He said word for word that we have reached out to them at that time. It just wasn't something they were interested in. And then he went on to say that, that just happens. He was like, schedules have to match up. Sometimes teams' scheduling philosophies don't match up. And he was like, I don't fault him for saying no or doing whatever. And he just kind of, he gave that political AD answer, like, they just said no. And he almost, and a lot of people were like, well, why didn't you press them on the why they didn't say yes or why they didn't do this? And I'm like, well, the ADs all have a relationship. Y'all know that. He wasn't going to go out there and be like, well, Ashley Robinson, did this, and this. And so I was like, it's cool. They just weren't interested and it wasn't the time. And we know what the narrative is going to be across social media in some places and everything. And I just wanted to make sure that people knew that question wasn't to put Jackson State in a corner, or even if they didn't negotiate it, put North Dakota State in a corner. It was just, that's a question that a lot of people had with these conversations is, okay, if we're going to talk about this potential matchup, have there been any talks? And so now that we know there has, when Jackson State's in a different, state of their program, and North Dakota State a few years down the road might be in a different state of their program. Listen, I mean, it could happen. And I think the fact that there's been talks for people who want to see good matchups, man, I think it's promising because the one place we disagree, I think you're right in some point. Like, there's probably some Southern Alcorn fans who would like to see y'all go up there and get beat by whatever. But I think for the average college football fan, fans don't clamor for bad matchups. Like, if you're an FBS fan, you're not clamoring for Alabama to play Illinois, but you're clamoring for Alabama to go play Texas or Ohio State. And so for me, the one thing that I'm confused on, and I think it's just because we're probably in different circles, when I hear people say, I would love to see Jackson State go play North Dakota State, I almost look at that as a compliment for Jackson State. People are like, this program has recruited so well. You look at with Mike Zimmer coming in, this coaching staff, I think this team could compete with North Dakota State. Even with the resource deficit, I don't think people are begging for bad matchups out of conference. Like, when you hear the Tennessee State Jackson State matchup, I'm excited. Give Eddie George 3 more years to recruit at the level he's recruiting. You can't tell me that team's not going to be good going into that matchup.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't convince me.
Well, Blue, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I was going to say, the Tennessee State Eastern Washington game, is that a home and home?
Not that I know of. I think they have a home and home with Kennesaw starting next year, but I think that's just a one-off where they're getting paid to go up there to play Eastern Washington.
See, Ken, see what I'm saying? That brings back what I mentioned earlier about my point that I mentioned earlier. See, typically, when it came to the upper echelon top 10 FCS teams, they never schedule home and home. And then, but in a historical point of view, on our standpoint, from like all the HBCUs, whenever there was a home and home, we will always go on the road first. That second game would never be returned. So that's why I'm in the minority. I don't mind playing North Dakota State. I would love to play them. I just don't want to play them under that circumstance. So that's why I said, look, I'll give you 2 options. If we do a home and a home, we play you in Jackson first. Or if you want to do a one-off like what A&T did, hey, I'll play at a neutral site game. Same thing that you try to do. We can go meet at Dallas, play at the NFL stadium, just like you wanted, at a neutral site, and we can do that. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sign a one-time deal to go on the road to another FCS program and treat it like a money game to a peer. So, I'm not going to do that.
So that I agree with that. And here's the thing, Blue. I'm not saying so. When I make that statement, when I say, like, I'm in a lot of circles, and I'm also able to read through bullshit. I'm just keeping it a book. It's the context in which things are said, and it's the ones that have. It's not just what you say that day; it's what you go on to say, and it's said through various different things. So, are there some real football fans that want to see that game? Hell yeah! And here's what I want. I would play North Dakota State. I'm not saying that we wouldn't play North Dakota State. Now, honestly, I like our chances. I don't know right now because there's so many uncertainties. And then here's the other thing. It's not a bad thing. And we've all football peers on this stream. It's not a bad thing to ask us, even though you've seen us do well in recruiting, to give us time to get to where we want to be in our program. They've had a freak. Let me stop cursing. You see that picture in their trophy case, man? They won championship after championship after championship. So I go and look at Sam Herder's best at, it might be FCS Sports, best at every returning player that's the best player with that jersey number. Mm-hmm. So do you know their entire offensive line was listed?
Yeah.
Not only North Dakota State had like 17 players on that list, bro. And I could be, and I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. That I doff my hat off to them. We are not going to disrespect the success that North Dakota State has said. All I'm saying is, to us, North Dakota State is the Alabama of FCS. So what I'm saying is, you put North Dakota State, Alabama in these seemingly impossible matchups. There are some people that are throwing it out there where if you're so good and you're so this, then go play them. And I'm gonna say, well, the last time you saw us play, we couldn't protect our quarterback. We threw 3 interceptions. We lost the Celebration Bowl. Yeah, we're Jackson State alums and fans, and we rock with, we cover the program, but we ain't stupid. You get what I'm saying? So, and even if we did schedule that game, it's gonna be something similar to an Eddie George and them, where it'll be down the road. It's not gonna be next year, because like I told people, our out of conference schedule is pretty much set. I think we got an opening in 2024, Zoe, which I think we get 12 games because we're gonna have that week 0 falls. It's gonna be that weird year where we can
Well,
schedule 12 games.
that's gonna be the next 2 years in 24 and 25 because of
24.
how.
So,
Yeah, the rule is, if I remember correctly, if the football season from week
Every
0
game.
to the end of the game, if he gets 14 weeks, you can have 12
There you
games
go.
in it.
Yeah.
So we'll have 12 games in 24 and 25. Go ahead.
So here's the unique thing, Blue, and I'll shut up and let you go. Because this is what I was trying to say. Like next year, it's already spoken for. We're already committed to play South Carolina State in week 0 at the SWAC MEAC Challenge. We're already pegged to play Southern, who falls off of our SWAC schedule as a non-conference game, and we also have Texas State. So that's 3 games on top of the 8 SWAC games. So we don't even have availability in 2023. To your point, so
Yeah.
we can say what we want to say now. All right, let me play devil's advocate. I'm gonna take my blue and white glasses off. It's late. I asked Zoe this question because I was standing in my driveway when I asked him. I said, "Hey, let's say we lose the first game,
Oh yeah.
and we flip that damn thing, and FAMU does what we did." Now, my take is this: I feel like this is just me saying this based off the consistency of the haters. And let's say FAMU do what we did and they win the Celebration Bowl, but we go to the FCS playoffs and we make a deep run. Now, let's say we don't win the national championship, but we went far. The question I asked was, who has the most successful season? Because you already know that year they're gonna say, "Oh no, bro, they swept the SWAC, they won Celebration Bowl." It's without question.
They'll do that, but listen, I swear, listen, y'all can clip this. If that happens, I will invite both of y'all on my show, and we will drag FAMU together. Because listen, if I don't care if it's A&T, because that's the weird thing with the HBCU National Championship is how do you measure? Because there's a good chance that this year Jackson State could win the Celebration Bowl. FAMU, Tennessee State, and A&T could all be in the playoffs with a potential chance to make some runs. Man,
not A&T.
Oh, okay, maybe not A&T. A&T could possibly win the Big South. I'll just put they could get the.
No, I'm messing with them. I got A&T losing in North Carolina Central. That's just me.
I said that on my show. Listen, you can be on the hit list with me.
North Carolina Central is for real.
Listen, I'm told I'm not allowed in Greensboro for predicting that, but I'm with you on that because Central is good. I'm just here to say that I think Central can beat South Carolina State this year. I really do. And that's my opinion. But to get back to your point, on 2 things there. One is I look at, you mentioned North Dakota State, Alabama, the FCS, and I agree with you there. I think a lot of people outside of, the haters and the people who just want to see y'all fail, because I know there's always those people, but in terms of a football perspective, the way I see you guys is you guys are Clemson with Taj Boyd right now, where it's like you're a year or 2 away from making that, like you're right there on the precipice of like one or 2 more players, and it's a wrap. Like you guys are going to be right there with them, and I think it's different because Clemson was missing some skill positions. You guys are just missing the O-line, in my opinion. Because I think
Blue, that's a damn good comp.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Damn good comp, Blue.
Hey, make sure you tune into the Craig Lyles interview. He's gonna tell you a little something about the O-line. I'm telling you, we're gonna be better this year. But I ain't going out on the record saying it because seeing is believing. I gotta see it. I gotta get through game 1, and I gotta see it. Till I see it, I'm look good on paper.
I had a trusted O-line source that was at the scrimmage that I really, really trust. That's in JSU's building. I can't drop their name. They asked me to keep them anonymous just because of who I'm associated with and everything. But he played O-line in the SWAC, and he told me the interior of the offensive line is legit. He said that Zach Bro is a superstar, and I agree with him. I had Zach Bro on the show. I had him on the show, and when I talked to Zach Bro, the leadership and everything, me being a former O-lineman, the center is the quarterback of the offensive line. And last year, I felt like the biggest thing for Jackson State's O-line is there wasn't any communication. When you go back and watch that Celebration Bowl, every stunt, every disguised blitz, the offensive line just didn't communicate. They didn't know who to block. I don't think it was a lack of talent last year for Jackson State. It was a lack of execution, a lack of aggression at times. And man, if you can't pick up simple twist stunts and things.
No, the SWAC championship. When Jason Dumas was back there and he lived in the back, I thought Jason Dumas was playing running back for a minute.
Hey, that might be because he's that good. I love Dumas in his game, but also, going back to the scheduling, that's the biggest thing for me is I think people confuse me just because I kind of get swept in like this weird, like everything I say is like a JSU hate. But when I was talking about the potential game, North Dakota State doesn't have any openings till like 2025. They're booked up for like the next 2 years too. And
let me say this: if Coach Prime can commit to 2025 and he guarantees he'll be the coach schedule the game, because you know me, I want Coach Prime here to 2037. That's just what I'm saying. I 2037, though. I ain't the hell with 2027. Give me 2037. Because that lets you know. Yeah, if you look at the trajectory of what we've seen in less than 2 years, it's phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal. Keep going. You got it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of people, like you said, there's a lot of people out there. It's hard on social media with 180 characters, where I think people kind of get lost in translation. Where it's like, oh, well, I'd like to see this matchup. Well, this can't happen. This can't happen. It's like, man, like sometimes this is hypothetical, and I think a lot of people got heated because, as you know, the voices who are saying nothing seem to be the loudest in those spaces, and it's like, man, we're letting the lowest common denominator speak for both sides. Like if once we have an intelligent conversation, we're all on the same ground here, man. And so like that's the most frustrating thing for me. It's just like, man,
we would love to have North Dakota State come to Jackson. That game, every HBCU fan would show up. We think they would travel and bring some, because they definitely travel to Frisco when they go to the SEC, the FCS championship game. So man, it would be dope if they came. I take the game, but I don't know what the terms were. It might have been, hey, you guys come to us, we'll come to you, and they was like, no, we good. We're not in a position to go to Fargo right now. We're good on that money.
And look, for the record, look, I'm all for, like I said, Jackson State playing North Dakota State and Jackson first, and even return the trip to go to Fargo. If they ever even schedule that game, I will be there with bells on. My thing is, I'm just not. I don't believe in my school going to play another FCS opponent like it's a money game. That's redundant as hell to me.
I think there's too many good teams in the South, man, really and truly, that could have home and homes or have a neutral site game. Like for me as an FCS guy,
I agree.
When I look at the landscape, you're like, and I've talked with some FAMU fans, Kennesaw State in Atlanta. You cannot tell me that game wouldn't draw 40,000 people to that game.
Yes.
I mean, you can't tell me that happened. Even a Mercer game in Atlanta too, because they're right there just outside of Atlanta. That game would be big. Or even, I wish Jacksonville State would have stayed in the FCS for a little bit longer, but they're gone. But I mean, there's so many other teams like a UT Martin somewhere at a neutral site. I mean, there's too many good teams in the South, in my opinion, that I think Jackson State, FAMU, the fact that FAMU hasn't scheduled Kennesaw, I get on FAMU fans all the time. Like that game should have happened already because of how big FAMU is in Atlanta. And then I think there's some other neutral sites that I think are untapped. Like I think a Kansas City neutral site game in Arrowhead would be one that a lot of people would be really, really hyped for. Middle of the country, you can kind of bridge the gap from some of those northern to southern teams right there. And
can I be biased for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want a game in LA. I want it on the West Coast.
Blue, I'll even tell you what else. I would like, for a non-conference game, I would like for a neutral site game in Chicago, being that Jackson State has a huge alumni base in Chicago with the Missouri Valley opponent.
Classic, though? Then they had like the Chicago Classic
with the Missouri Valley opponent. That way, travel won't be an issue. It's in their footprint, but Jackson State has a large alumni base. That makes sense in Chicago in an NFL stadium at Soldier Field. It makes all the sense in the world.
Don't Grambling and Tennessee State do that? Like, don't they got a game coming up similar to that? I think they play up there, don't they?
No, they played last year at the Hall of Fame. They played last year at the Hall of Fame.
It was in Canton,
I couldn't remember. Ohio. Somebody was going up there, but no, I feel that. I'm not. There's a lot of opportunities when it comes to scheduling. Like I said, I don't even entertain it too tough. I really just kind of go back and forth with a lot of people when it comes to that. I just think that a lot of the narrative when it comes to like North Dakota State, a lot of it, it's like, why do we skip everybody and jump straight to, You know what I mean? There's no Montana State who is dominant. There's no, they just announced a collective. Was
Yeah.
that South Dakota State? Who was that?
No,
North
it no,
Dakota
it
State?
was Montana State. Montana State's
Montana
supposed to be
State.
launching a
Yeah,
NIL collective.
very
That's
similar to Grambling, and
yeah.
it's so many big time FBS programs. You got what is it, South Dakota State. You got a lot of teams, but at the end of the day, you got to do what works for you. Like I'll give you an example. This is what I want to say. North Carolina A&T is going to Fargo for $300,000. Jackson State's going to Mobile to play Alabama A&M for $450,000. We're going 3 hours to play an in-conference opponent, but all expenses are paid, and they're going to Fargo and they don't even get a return game, which, like you said, they didn't even negotiate it. Hey, man, again, you got to think about your fans, think about who's going to be there, and it's like, why the hell would I want to go to Fargo, North Dakota? Like, I'll probably die and never ever step foot in North Dakota in my life. So why would I need to go there? Let alone I got to get y'all to guarantee. Y'all got the most money. Can we all agree that North Dakota State got way more money than we do? You know what I'm saying? They can definitely get down here, in my opinion. So come here and then we'll go there. I know Mississippi Valley went recently and they got throttled 55-7.
Yeah.
If my memory serves me correct.
The only thing that gets me is, me seeing all the chatter from a good number of A&T fans. I'm like, we're scared. I'm like, it's oxymoronic. I mean, like you just mentioned, Valley went and played. I guess, Valley has more heart than JSU, right? So we went to play ULM last year. Yeah, they weren't good or perceived to be good, but we lost. But, it's an FBS team. So if we won't play North Dakota State, but we're going to play Texas State or anybody else, or we have a fear for going to the playoffs. We have this fear of going to the playoffs, but we've been to the playoffs 19 times. I'm like, nobody's scared to play anybody. It just has to make sense.
Because I think it was UAPB went up and played South Dakota State a few years ago and got beaten 90-6.
92-0. And that UAPB team was horrible.
It was
bad, yeah, they did. But we schedule Missouri Valley teams. The SWAC hasn't normally schedule Big West teams, because I remember probably about 10 years ago, South Dakota came down and beat Southern. So we played them. And Jackson State.
Yes,
Jackson State hadn't played any.
Yeah, but A&T has more money than A&T has more money. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't even. I mean, they got more students, they got more bread, they got, that's cool. Now, our money right now is, hey man, we playing with house money right now. We got things that we ain't paying for. Relationships get relationships get you in the doors that money can't buy, man. I'm just telling you. So at the end of the day, speaking of that, man, what's your thoughts? I know you talked about Zimmer. I think you did a show about it. Yeah, we got, like I said, we touched on, we did a show last night. We recorded. We talked about Zimmer, Aguiar, Nagy. I mean, you was at the Senior Bowl. I'm glad you came on. Tell us about your experience with the Senior Bowl and what do you think Jim Nagy being on campus, what does that mean for Jackson State?
A lot, man, because I live in Mobile, so the Senior Bowl office is like right down the street, and a lot of people here I know work on, in that building. But it's big because I think last year was a real eye opener for him when he got a lot of pushback for not inviting Marquise Bell. Because usually Nagy's kind of quiet on social media for the most part, but when he got called out, he responded to all the FAMU chatter, man, because they came after him hard for Marquise Bell not being invited to that game. And I mean, they had a right to do so, I think, because I think Marquise Bell definitely should have been on the field. Jatari Carter went down and balled out, and I don't think people understand. I know. I talked about this with Jamie Walker. I really want to see the Legacy Bowl keep growing. I'm hoping some players do like a James Houston and go to multiple bowls and make the Legacy Bowl an automatic go. And then you can go to the Senior Bowl, the NFLPA Bowl, wherever you want to go, East-West Shrine Game. But make the Legacy Bowl the go-to all-star game, because as we all know, and we talk about this in multiple different aspects, if let's fast forward a few years, if Shador's there, if Malachi Wadman's there, if Xavier Smith is there, Isaiah Land is there, if those players are at the Legacy Bowl, you don't think the scouts are following?
You need your big guns there.
Because last year Akil Glass being there was really big, and some of the other players that they had come over. But for me, the Senior Bowl is just different, man, because I went and covered the Legacy Bowl, and granted, it was the inaugural season. I could count the number of people on the sidelines, guys, in practice on my two hands right here. It was the
We
NFL
definitely
Network.
gonna be there this year. We will
Yeah,
be there
the,
this year,
We'll be
for
there.
sure.
the NFL Network, Cut Day, myself, and MTMV Sports. That was like it. And then some local news stations came at the end just to catch some interviews. They really didn't care about the practices. But when I went to the Senior Bowl, man, they almost filled up the lower bowl of South Alabama Stadium just in scouts there for that. And the sidelines were filled. You saw Brian Harsin, Nick Saban, all these coaches who were out there vouching for their players. So you don't think if Shador Sanders or Travis Hunter in the future, whoever gets invited to the Senior Bowl, that Coach Prime isn't going to be in Mobile, vouching for them, talking with the scouts, talking with the
Right.
GMs. It's huge, man. And also with Jim Nagy being there, they can put players on the radar who might not be on there. I think like a Gregory Great, who's been kind of cooped up at Middle Tennessee State. But when you go watch the film and look at his production, the analytics, the stats, he's a future NFL prospect, in my opinion, at the safety spot. And I think he's one of the top NFL draft prospects on Jackson State right now. He can vouch for a guy like Niles Gaddy. He can vouch for a guy like Malachi Wadman or even a Dallas Daniels, who probably wasn't getting the attention that he deserved at Western Illinois. But from everything I hear, looks legit in practices for Jackson State right now at the wide receiver spot. I just want to say I called that. I told people, they said we don't need any more wide receivers. I said you need this guy because he's the truth. But I think it's huge, man. And for Mike Zimmer, the biggest thing I told people is that everyone goes straight to player development and things like that. I don't even think that's the biggest impact. One, it's the impact on the younger coaches on the staff who get to pick his brain and be influenced and molded by what he knows. I mean, this is a guy who has, he was coaching when like my mom was like 5 years old. So, I mean, this is a guy who has been coaching way longer than I've even been
40
alive.
years.
And on top of that, being an analyst, being able to sit down there, break down film, and help Jackson State identify weaknesses week to week and small tweaks that they can make to their scheme to help on the defensive side of the ball, and even going to like the offensive side of the ball. He sees the offense from a different perspective than a lot of offensive coaches as well. So you're looking at it from a totality perspective of he can impact both sides of the ball week in and week out. And so the fact that he even said, listen, I don't even need to really be paid. I'm still getting paid millions of dollars by the Vikings because they fired me.
Hold up, Blue. Hey, man, who the hell is this silver diamond white trash dude, bro? Like, I'm finna block this dude because he's talking some. I hate trolls, bro, because I really. All right, go ahead, man.
But Blue, actually, to even add to your point,
I ain't even do that, bro. That type of shit right there, man. People behind these computers, man. Go ahead.
To add to your point, Blue, when we did the show the other night, that's one of the things that I mentioned because people automatically assume he's going to be hands-on coaching. I'm like, well, you can't by the law by being an analyst. But one thing he can actually do is a lot of implementation of what he does within the game plan. But I think his biggest asset, because we got to remember, Coach Prime is still a young coach. I think it's going to have a good hand in the growth of Coach Prime between this season and next season. But also, I think he can actually instill other things that he's done because he's known for that double A gap blitz. That's one of his calling cards. And I think that's one thing he can actually implement, or some other, tidbits that he does, in his past with Jackson State. But basically with the coaches, I think his whole thing is pretty much he's going to be coaching the coaches. I don't really think there's going to be a lot to do with the players. I think everything he's going to do is with the coaches, as well as with his nephew on staff, a young guy, young coach. I feel like that's what his biggest asset is going to be.
Hey, Black Gawkin, I'm not sleeping. I ain't even close to sleep. I think it's the way. Yeah, go ahead.
I think another thing too that people don't talk about is I think there's in college. I know a lot of people don't talk about this per se. Is there are some players on the roster that know their future isn't playing in the NFL or playing at the next level, and having a coach like that with the connections to potentially get into coaching after they graduate and allowing some of those guys to almost act as graduate assistants behind the scenes, like some of the quarterbacks that have a year of eligibility left that they're not playing ahead of Shador. They can get that hands-on experience, kind of learning the behind the scenes stuff and everything that comes with having a Mike Zimmer in the locker room, in the coach's office. I mean, in my opinion, it's invaluable. And the fact that Jackson State got him on like, I mean, they almost like picked him up at like the dollar for sale like rack. I mean, it's like, listen, you don't have to pay for this. This is normally $100. We're gonna give it to you for $1. It's like,
Yeah.
man,
Good.
and I think that's something that people forgot with Coach Prime is like, we always talk about the budget, and I mentioned this on the show, is with the budget, what it is or whatever, the fact that he's able to fit all these different things under that small umbrella where other coaches have a much larger umbrella and still aren't being able to fit everything under that large umbrella. Man, listen, I'm impressed. And when I heard that news, I took a day to process it. I did like you, Ken, where I was like, I'm not going to instant react. I want to sit back, kind of analyze what this means and how I feel. And listen, I'm impressed, and that's all I can say.
Hey,
Well,
Avis,
and
man,
look, while I got you,
welcome to the stream, Avis. Avis is here, man. He said we're trying to do a show without Blue. But before you go, Zoe, let me say this. You just made 2 points that I made on the show last night. That was one of the big takeaways I felt from Zimmer, is the impact with the coaches on the staff. Coach Otis really got a chance to go do an intern up there. And then the other thing was, you got to watch the interview with Cray Lyles, man. Because I'm telling you right now, what you just said, that man is a living example of I just can't wait till y'all see it. The interview was dynamic, man. If y'all get a chance, go interview him. I mean, he had I was so full of energy when I finished interviewing him and what he said and what he had to say. Kind of the behind the scenes and the connections and how Coach Prime was able to plug in a few things for him. And I'll let y'all listen to it and y'all find out exactly what he'll be doing for the NFL Network. Absolutely dope, man. But go ahead. What do you say, though?
But Blue, what I was going to ask you, since you're well versed with the SWAC, what's your take, or who you think is going to be the toughest game on the schedule for Jackson State next year? Because I've already said that I believe our toughest game is a toss-up to me. I don't think it's FAMU. I think Tennessee State, and I think slightly behind them, possibly. I think Campbell.
Yep. You took the words right out of my mouth. I think you might have even been in the stream when I said that. I think when I look at potential losses for Jackson State and I had to rank them, I would have Tennessee State number 1 by far, and then I would have probably Campbell 2. And I think the reason I say FAMU is a tough one for me, I think FAMU might be more overall talented. I just think the matchup comes at a very inopportune time for them. I talked with, I dropped my FAMU preview today with my guy Kofi from the ONG Strike Show, man. Shout out to him. And the UNC game, even though, it could go one of two ways where it could prepare them and they can kind of sort out that QB battle. But I'm so worried after watching what happened to PV last year. Listen, that PV game against Texas A&M in late November, man, I can't even tell you how bad that team, Eric Dooley and that team, probably wish they had that game never scheduled, because they don't lose to Valley the next week and they don't go into Jackson State beat up, missing multiple players. And so I'm worried what happens.
Yeah.
I talked with Kofi, knock on wood, I never wish injury. What happens if Isaiah Land goes out there and gets hurt, or Xavier Smith isn't fully healthy the next week, and then you're going into Jackson State already handicapped?
Just FYI, we want him healthy.
Yeah.
I want y'all to let y'all best. So when we bust the clock on y'all, man, I don't want to hear no excuses, man. It ain't gonna be 7-6 this year.
To piggyback on that, you're absolutely right. Because typically, being that that you have the Jackson State game in week 1, you typically will want to schedule that. The first game would be the perfect game to schedule a Miles or a D2 or a Cupcake to get the kinks out, not to schedule a money game that you're going to obviously lose. And do they take the approach where they'll probably not play land as much, but then that works against everything that you're trying to do, because you have this big conference game up the next week. So that's the thing that's kind of weird.
And for Tennessee State, the reason I say that they're the toughest matchup is because I feel like they have the experience in the right places, and I feel like they can be balanced enough not to be one-dimensional against Jackson State. Because if you're one-dimensional, and I said this all last year, man, because everyone's like, well, what's it going to take to beat Jackson State? You have to be diverse in your offensive attack, and you have to have a defensive line that can get to Shador. If you allow Shador all day to sit in the pocket and pick you apart on the back end, listen, there's no way you're going to beat Jackson State. There's just not going to happen, because you're not going to be able to score enough on the defense, which is so talented. So for me, when I look at Tennessee State's offense, you've got a quarterback in Draylon Ellis with multiple years of experience at the FCS level.
Running back.
Exactly. And I think Devon Starling might have an argument to be one of the best running backs in HBCUs, and he's so overlooked because
I
he's in the
agree.
OVC. Then you land Holloman because you were missing a lot of size at that wide receiver spot. You get a 6'6" former 4-star from Georgia to combine with an all-conference pick in Zaire Thornton, who's a more shifty guy. And on top of that, on the offensive line, you really revamped it, brought in some guys in the interior like Rod Green, former 3-star from Grambling. That offensive line's been looking good from what I've been hearing from the coaching staff. And the defensive line, you've got 3 all-conference guys. Teray Jones, the defensive tackle. You bring in Terrell Allen. And I'm blanking on the third guy's name. He plays edge for them. He was an all-conference selection in his career too. So you got 3 all-conference guys that's really going to test that Jackson State offensive line to see how they really do click early in the season. Then at linebacker, you have James Green, a 5th-year starter, has been an all-conference selection, and you bring in 4-star Kevon Pope, which was a highly, highly touted transfer this all season. The one question I do have for Tennessee State, though, they did lose oh man, is it Brayman or something like that? Corey Raymond at the safety spot. He went to the USFL, was a potential NFL draft pick. Replacing him with the safety spot's a question mark. But other than that, the secondary is fairly intact. I think they're going to have enough diversity offensively and a good enough front seven to keep themselves in that game against Jackson State. And my litmus test, if they go and beat Eastern Washington on the red turf week 1 and Jackson State handles business against FAMU, you cannot tell me that is arguably not the biggest game in FCS football this upcoming year.
And don't forget, they have a great staff too. They have a well put together staff. So I agree. We talked about it, and we got to mention, man, Eddie has done well recruiting. Their recruiting class was real nice. They got a good blend. It's like their pieces fit what they needed. It's not so much about, oh, I got this name or I got this name. It's like, look at the pieces when you put them together and look at the totality of the class. They got a really, 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 really good nucleus that they brought in. And again, he has a nice staff. So that's why even before Campbell was announced, Ken and I talked about it, and I was like, bro, I'm telling you, FAMU is not going to be the game. It's going to be Tennessee State.
Right now. Man, these comments going crazy over here, man. I'm just trying to fan off the trolls, man. I wish I could punch all of them in the face, but they
You're
like
gonna lose that.
Yeah, it comes with the territory of YouTube, man.
No, I ain't tripping off of it. Hey, but while I got y'all, man, make sure y'all like the stream. Go ahead and subscribe to the page if you don't mind. Like I said, we less than 10 subs from a G. And if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe to the channel now, man. Appreciate it. So I got Bluebloods. Our Tennessee chances versus what are Tennessee chances versus Eastern Washington. I think you might address that, but go ahead if you have.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, when you look at what they lost with Eric Berrier at the quarterback spot, like if they had Eric Berrier, it's a 0 because Eric Berrier was just that guy. But they're coming in with a guy who's a 5th year and Mitchell Johnson, I believe his name. He's set behind Eric Berrier for a long time, and he's an experienced quarterback, but we have not seen him be the guy yet. And when you look at that Tennessee State defense with all that experience and talent, I got questions about Eastern Washington's offensive line and quarterback. Their wide receiving room is deep, but if you ain't got a quarterback to throw to them, I don't know what to tell you. The defense for Eastern Washington is going to take a step forward, but I like Draylon Ellis and a lot of those guys who are coming in. So I give Tennessee State a great chance. The problem is, I don't know if people know this. It's really hard to go up there and win on the red turf. They have not lost many games over the past few years up there in Cheney, Washington. So that's the one thing I'm worried about. But I give them a solid chance, man. I picked them on my show a few months ago to pull off that upset over a top 15 team. But we'll see. I think Tennessee State is a team with a very, very high upside. But as we've seen, all 3 of us being college football guys, there's teams with a lot of talent that don't gel and they don't live up to expectations every year.
I think so one thing I'll give you a tidbit. I'll say it this way. Cray had a chance to spend some time at Jackson State. And one of the things he did talk about coming from Southern Illinois and being able to be at another FCS locker room, he talked about how when he got to Jackson State, it was like 2 weeks before the FAMU game. So he was in a situation where the offensive line was just coming together. There was a lot of changing parts. A lot was going on. He said the difference between last year and this year from the O-line standpoint is that we've had an official offseason. A lot of these guys have had time to get to know one another and really gel. And he really liked the camaraderie and that they were building. He said night and day. He's like night and day compared to last year. So that's, like I said, that's a I guess a huge shout out to the interior linemen, because that's really where the game is won and lost. And we know the outside is very important too, because you got those edge rushers coming. But if you get beat up in the middle, man, you really, your running game is shot at that point. So I like the combination. Zoe and I, Zoe's favorite Tiger right now is Tyler Brown. I know you had a chance to interview him,
Love him.
Zach Bro and Evan Henry paired with either Demetri Jordan or Tyler Brown, depending on who wins that spot. I think we both got Evan Henry and Zach Bro locked in as starters right now. But I think one thing I will say is Debo. Debo was highly missed because he did not play in the first scrimmage. He is going to be playing in this next upcoming scrimmage. I think somebody asked. For what my understanding is, it still is open to the public. I mean, it'll be open to select individuals. I'm assuming they can still go out there. So if you're in Jackson, go up to the campus, man. Check it out. I think it's going to be a lot more things they're going to implement. It was a little bit more, I would say, vanilla. They worked on some specific things. Our kicking game, I was told, is at the level that it needs to be at. That has been completely addressed. Like I said, the defense. When I say Debo, I'm talking about Devin Hayes. He's our left tackle. I have him pegged as our left tackle. I was told like this: Debo don't give up sacks, and we had got a couple of sacks in the scrimmage because he was missing. He's back. Those that's asking, Malachi's back. Shiloh will be back. Travis Hunter's back. Everybody gonna be ready. So EA, don't worry, brother. Everybody gonna show up and we'll be ready for you guys. Y'all just go handle business in what is it, in Durham, North Carolina?
Chapel Hill, Durham's
Chapel Hill.
Duke.
That's what. Yeah. Durham is the Dukies, eh?
Yeah,
my bad.
Duke in North Carolina Central.
Patrick Willis, right tackle. Go ahead.
Willis Patrick.
Yeah, Willis Patrick.
Yeah, he did say Patrick Willis. He took it as Willis Patrick, man. Come on,
hey, Patrick Willis and Aubrey Miller would be nice back there at the linebacking core. You're talking about
man, Patrick Willis, that linebacker. Hey, that's an old. I don't want to get started. He's an Ole Miss grad, so we might get in a little trouble mentioning his name.
That's true. The person
Jasper
I trust
Freeze is right now. Jasper Freeze is pinned in as he's interchangeable, but he actually is playing guard. Believe it or not. He's playing guard. So, hey, he played guard in JUCO, so I don't have a problem with it. That UNC game does zero favors for FAMU. It does, man. Now, here's what I like about it. One of my other points in relation to Zimmer being a defensive analyst. You got Dennis Thurman, who's the defensive coordinator. So you give Zimmer, Thurman, Weeks, Mathis, Hart, all these guys a full week to scout a team and put up a game plan. And I'm telling you, FAMU, you better get their quarterback situation figured out. I can tell you that right now. I love their running back room. I love their defensive line. They got great DBs, but you got to figure out what you're going to do at quarterback. And if you don't have your quarterback situation sorted out by the time you play Jack State, it won't be good for you. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think both quarterbacks are going to see a lot of time against UNC. The way I was told is that it's going to be a rotation some way, somehow, week one. So I don't know.
No, I can see that. No, I'm reading the messages.
Okay. Man.
No,
man, go to bed, man.
No, I'm reading the messages. But no, I agree. But I also think with FAMU, I think they have the pieces. They have a good team. They have great players. But in just my opinion, I feel like you're going to have exceptional quarterback play to beat Jackson State. And I'm just not really willing to trust McKay to give exceptional quarterback play just going to lead to beating Jackson State.
Well, I mean, I think McKay is just going to be the starter, though, in my opinion. I know people are talking about Musa. I know from what I was told, DA, a couple of pick sixes, all them interceptions on film. Musa he like to throw it to the other team. So I'm rooting for you guys to start Musa because we need to get Travis Hunter needs to get a pick six, man. Could you imagine how dope that'll be if Travis Hunter gets a pick six, first college game on national TV? He can take that thing to the house. Oh my goodness, man. They don't want to see me on Monday evening, Blue. They don't want to see me on Monday evening.
No, Sports Center top 10. Let him take a pick six to the house, and he's going viral again.
I just want to see him. He said, I love these sound bites, coach. Hey man, ain't no coach, man. I'm just Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club. I'm just an alum that loves Jackson State. And we 3-0 right now against y'all since 2003. So I like our chances, man.
They're gonna have your picture in the locker room before the game, man. They're gonna they're like Cam
Make sure
Clark said, trash.
Hold on. Make sure you get my good side, man. Let me make sure.
So, Blue, let me ask you this.
So
So we know the elephant in the room when it comes to the SWAC pretty much has been, from a historical standpoint, and even up to last season, is going to be there's this shift within the SWAC, and the perception is slowly changing. But to even take that next step, we all know that we need better non-conference play. So, outside of us talking about the Campbell game and whoever else that we play, what tangible games do you think are swing games that the SWAC could possibly win as non-conference games next year?
Valley's got to go out there and play against Tarleton State. That's a big one early in the season too. So with Tarleton State, they had a fifth-year guy in Stephen Duncan who transferred in from Western Kentucky. He got a job offer that was significant. He messaged me and said it was enough where he's comfortable right now at 20-something years old making what he's making, and so he stepped away from the game. And so they're going to have a new quarterback, a lot of new pieces coming in, especially at the wide receiver spot for Tarleton State. And so if Valley can get that one, and Dancy's going to need that win with the tough schedule they have moving forward. I think Alcorn has two that are very interesting. One's going to be tough, and that's week 1 against Stephen F. Austin, a top 10 preseason team. And they got, I know you guys probably disagree with me as Jackson State fans, they got the undisputed best wide receiver in the country with Xavier Gibson, man. The dude is just different over there.
Stephen F. Austin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with Xavier Gibson. Yeah. Trey Self comes back at quarterback. They've returned, I believe it's 12 of their 18 All-Americans from last year, all conference players. So they were very young last year. Everyone's coming back. They landed some big transfers. Top 10 team. And man, Alcorn gets them in Lorman, though. That's the key. It's a 6 p.m. kickoff in Lorman week 1. If that crowd comes, that's going to be a tough game for Stephen F. Austin to go in there and win. And then McNeese is like week 3 for them. And this has been a big narrative is for some reason, I don't know how this is a stat. McNeese is like 14-0 against the SWAC in their history. That makes McNeese has been garbage for the longest, and they're beating Southern, beating Alcorn.
McNeese got 2 of our players, James Reddick and Allah Brown.
Allah's going to start for them. Allah's going to start for them. I know that for a fact because they have.
Zoe, he gonna play like that Allah that we watch. He gonna ball out for him.
Yeah, he's good, man. Listen, I mean, he's a stud.
Problem with us, he had a lot of drops. Yeah. Freshman, I get it, but I guarantee you he's gonna be so much better because I think the pressure is a little different over there than it is. Jack State, the pressure's high, man. You can't make a mistake. You move the third string before the practice is out, Jack State. So I'm happy for him and James. I think they're gonna do well, man.
Yeah, and then the last one, man, Austin Peay, Alabama A&M was a must-win for Alabama A&M week 3 because I don't think they're beating Troy or UAB, despite I think a lot of people are pegging that as potential upsets. I just don't see it with all those transfers early. And if you go down,
starting quarterback.
I heard it's Quincy Casey right now. That's what my guy in the program said. It's QC, and I think it played a big role that the other guy had to step away due to some mental health issues. Man, I'm hoping he's getting the help he needs because mental health is always bigger than
Jonathan Williams.
Yeah, always bigger than what's going on the field. But they get UAB Troy on the road, host Austin Peay. Then week 4 they go to FAMU and Bragg. Man, if you go 0-4. Man, Connell Maynard's seat's going to be real hot going into week 5 if you start out 0-4. So that Austin Peay game's a must win. And Austin Peay is a team that you have to beat. And they just landed Jared Doji, former West Virginia quarterback, thrown for over 10,000 yards in his career now. And he transferred unexpectedly. Like no one knew he was on campus until they announced it today. He's going to be the starting quarterback. So,
wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. It is news.
Hey, man. Didn't know that one, bro. So, I mean, this is a big year for us. I think we got to win some games, man. 0-5 in Tally Ho. Who was that? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
What are you talking about? Troy? Alabama A&M? What you talking about, man?
It's got to be Alabama A&M because I know Troy probably ain't 0-5 in Bragg, and I don't think you guys are either.
No, we own them. We own them in Bragg.
Hey, people gotta understand. Brad came from we brag different over here, man. I know they say that, but Brad came from Jackson
Oh, we
State.
should
Just
say
FYI.
they got their brag from Jackson State.
Just FYI. I know they don't like that.
Learn your
No, I
history.
don't
They
like
got their
that.
brag
I
from
know the
Jackson State.
Southern fans. I think Zoe can speak to because I think he was in the chat. The Southern fans were real loud in my last live stream saying that the Vet's actually their home stadium and Mumford is just a
They can say what they want
secondary
to say.
home.
They blew the game last year. They said, "I'll be
That's
quiet." They
true.
can't win. Don't talk until you win again.
Is that
And you know what players are currently injured? Yes, I
Hey,
do.
hey,
But
hey.
but I ain't-
One thing you should learn, Blue, is Southerners say that, but at the same time too, they'll tell you that every time they go on the road, they take 50,000 fans on the road too. So
I
go
was told it
figure.
was going to be 50-50 in October. October 29th,
it
I heard
won't
it was
be
going to be
50-50.
50-50.
It won't be 50.
It won't be 50-50
I'll
either.
be
They'll
there.
bring
I'm
some fans. It'll
excited.
be more 60-40. Nah, I would say 65-35 because we're gonna be in there. So yeah, they asked about an injury.
Now you know it.
Everybody's back with this. We got 2 players that'll be back next week. But other than that, 3 players back next week. No, 2 players back next week, and 4 of them are back officially. Doyle, Julius, Savion, Mark Pope, all ready to roll. They was nicked up, ready to roll. So we look good, man. It was. I was happy to see Mark Pope out there, though, catching them routes, man. Number 6. I'm excited to see that. So
Yeah.
70-30 for sure. That's a good number. I like that.
So
Coach
if you guys had
got a hell of a sound bite.
Go ahead, Blue. Go ahead, Blue.
if you guys had to put money on it, I want to get y'all's opinion because I was asked this last live stream. If you had to put money on it, give me the starting lineup for wide receivers. Who are y'all's top 5 wide receivers that are going to roll out there for JSU this year?
Oh hell. I'm gonna be honest, Blue. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. That's an extremely hard question to answer just because of Coach Prime and his temperament. Because man, when I tell you, you don't know who's gonna be starting from one game to the next, depending on how things are at practice. But just to answer the question, because he's on record saying that he's gonna start Travis, right?
Family first,
So
yes.
so he say he's gonna start Travis. I'll go so far and I'm gonna say Shane Hooks, I'll say Travis, I'll say Kevin Coleman. And I'm assuming that we're going to start 4 wide. So if we're going to start 4 wide, I'll say Travis Hunter, Kevin Coleman, Shane Hooks, and Dallas Daniels.
Mine's a little different. I got Shane Hooks. I have Cam Buckley. I have Dallas Daniels, and I have Kevin Coleman. Those are gonna be my 4. I don't have Travis pinned in as a starting wide receiver right now. I have second unit, Malachi, Quay Davis, Travis Hunter, and
I forgot about Cam.
Who am I missing? Willie Gaines.
Man, y'all are both missing one that I was told was looking like the best wide receiver out there based on from Nuggets dad. Rucker, I heard he is balling.
Yeah, he balling. I don't see him starting though.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's
hard to say.
I'm just saying. I mean, I could be wrong. Now, I know people will say Malachi. This is what I'm saying about that. I think Shane has it locked up. This is my opinion. I think it's Shane's starting job to lose on one side. I think you're gonna see Cam Buckley, and you're gonna see Kevin.
We forgot about Rico. We forgot about Rico.
I don't see. I didn't forget about him. I'm saying I see Shane. We're going 4. If we're going 4 wide on running back, we're going. I got Shane Hooks, Dallas Daniels on the outside, Cam Buckley, and Kevin Coleman. Those would be my 4. And it's not. And I honestly, I don't think it really matters because I think the rotation is going to be so quick. These guys are gonna get series, and you're gonna have fresh legs. And you're gonna have at all times. They're gonna keep. Then when he starts sprinkling the tight ends, and you're playing 3, and it's gonna be. It's an embarrassment of riches. And we just picked up a wide receiver from Nebraska. Yeah. And got a lot going on over there. That's crazy, man. We got 6 quarterbacks. 6 quarterbacks. That's 9 crazy. Running backs. 17 wide receivers, 4 tight ends. Just saying.
It's crazy.
We just need one of those like
six quarterbacks for a reason. They have to figure out who that other person is, and I just leave it at that. Quay's going to play that Debo Samuel role. I agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, he will. But yeah, that's why I say. But again, that's the alignment that I mentioned. It'll change week to week.
You're gonna be introduced to Mr. Travis in about 2 weeks, brother. Just hang tight. Hang tight.
Yeah, that's
Just make sure y'all got Musa and quarterbacks. He can get his stats up early.
And the same thing at DB. You know, we already know, like, you know, you figure, you know, Nugget and Travis and probably Zabo in the slot.
I'm gonna tell you why he
K5 started. K5 started so many games last year.
I can tell you why he can be on the bench, but I ain't gonna put it out there. But I'm gonna just leave it at that. So when you're at Jackson State, you can't miss. You gotta be there. You gotta be ready to roll. You can't come late. So there's some people that won't start just because of the mere fact of amount of practices and reps that they haven't had. Not saying they won't come along and play. And here's what I ain't saying. I don't think starting matters at Jackson State because you can start a series, have a bad series, and not see the field anymore. And then the person coming in second can play and ball out the rest of the game. So I just think that starting is going to be from game to game. I think we're going to see several different starting lineups.
I agree.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's shown that it doesn't matter who you are. You look at Nugget. Nugget got taken off the field a lot in just different situations and didn't play early in a lot of games in terms of starting.
I hope he balled out this year. I'm rooting so hard for Nugget, man. God dog it, bro. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life. He looks like he's having crazy fun. He's got his brother Norman with him. Nugget, K5, Bolden, Travis Hunter.
No,
but I'm telling you, the person that I keep trying to tell y'all that's probably don't be shocked if this person starts. Jalen Hughes. Just leave it at that. Don't be shocked.
Yeah.
Not be shocked.
Yeah.
So Kendrick, I like Kendrick number 5. Hey, he a dog, man. He a dog, man. So I mean, we excited to see because in a couple of weeks, though, I'll be in Miami in 2 weeks and we'll be figuring out who the hell gonna be starting. So I don't think that none of them gonna know until that night because that's when they're gonna tell them at the meeting at the hotel. They're gonna find out who's starting. And it's good. Said I'm starting Quay Davis. Hey, he might start. I mean, I just think based off, I'm just giving you kind of who I feel is in the league right now. I think those 4 are going to be the ones. It's theirs to lose right now. If they lose it, hey, Malachi, that dude now. Malachi might not start game 1 and he might start game 2 and the rest of the season.
Yeah, but I will say this. We all know that Kevin Coleman's going to start. I think out of every receiver, Kevin Coleman has been the most consistent receiver since he got on campus.
He said he looks brolic. That's a very interesting word, bro. Yes, he did. He looks brolic.
He looks like a grown man now.
That journalism coming out of him. It's very brolic. I like that, bro. Niles Gaddy, he did. He's 6'6", officially 245, man. Grown man, bro. Grown man. I feel like Wyman needs to give up basketball. I definitely feel like he's fully there. No, I don't think he can give up anything. I mean, I don't think so. We got a new basketball coach. He'll be on the show soon. So we'll see.
EA's in here to tell you all about FAMU. Lord. Oh no, he was saying that they got the best running back room in the FCS down at FAMU.
You won't get a gripe out of me, man. I think they got some good running backs down there, man. But I'll say it this way. I stand on it when I say this. If you're gonna try to beat us with your running game, then you're gonna have to get some long breaks because that plays into our favor, if you ask me. That means you ain't got a quarterback.
Well, I tell you this too. Now, if you have good success running the ball, I think it'll bode well for you because it always does. It's just in the rule of thumb in football. But because of the type of offense that we're going to play, we're the hands down the worst team to get down to. I'll say that. The worst team to get down to. Just because of the way we play defense and, we're going to have a quick strike offense. And you know,
Yep.
most teams in the SWAC tend to get out of their game plan if they go down 10 points. You know, they tend to get out of what they want to do because they're trying to score so quick as opposed to just playing good sound football and sticking to the run and doing what works to get back into it. So if FAMU's going to stick with the run and work on and focus on that run game, you know, you got to factor in turnovers. Yeah, you got to factor in, you know, turnovers or special team scores, things of that nature. And if we're getting that, you know, again, we're the worst team to play to get down to.
Running back by committee. FAMU O-line ain't built like that. Anywho, hey man, we're gonna get out of here because here come the porn channels again.
Yeah, man.
That's when you got to shut it down.
Hey man, everybody, y'all make sure y'all go follow man Bluebloods podcast. We finna get ready to get out of this thing.
Yeah, Blue, thanks for coming on, man.
Man,
Hey,
I appreciate
you guys. Definitely
no
appreciate
doubt
you
about
guys
it,
having
man.
me on,
Like I
man.
said, we're gonna get kicked off on the show. We got 113 on here right now. If y'all not subscribed to the channel, look, man, I'm like 5 subs from getting to 1,000. Go do your boy a favor and hit that subscribe button. Like I said, we're gonna kick off our first official Monday evening quarterback show, just talking football. And we got a lot of shows that we dropping 2 shows this week. Like I said, an interview with Cray Lyles, and then myself, Zoe, Shaq, Corey. The gang came back together, gave y'all some content on the recent updates at Jackson State. And so yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Hey man, it's midnight on my time. I don't know where y'all at, but I gotta go to bed, man. So
yeah, it's 2 a.m. here.
Man. I appreciate everybody being on here. Make sure you like the stream, man, and subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club podcast. Make sure you go over there and hit that subscribe button, man. Daryl, I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for coming in. Blue, you're a real one for it, man. I appreciate you for coming on, bro. We'll have you back on soon. All right?
Absolutely, man.
All right, fellas. I'm finna go ahead and end this bad baby. Take it easy. West Coast, Blue, Black, Gulkin, West Coast, San Diego in the building. I'm gonna holler at y'all.
All right, man.